Hello there, welcome to another World of Warships Legends with Ungainly Titan. I have two games, both with the Mahon. I just wanted to show sort of more typical games, more ordinary games. One of them is quite short, because I didn't last very long. I made quite a lot of mistakes with the Mahon, but I think it's a more forgiving platform. The Destroyers are actually probably more forgiving platform for mistakes than any other ship in the game. I think the battleships are probably the worst. Partly because I think it just starts so close together and the battleships are quite frequently engaged from the get-go, and a lot of that means that sometimes the engagements are kind of meaningless because you're engaged with a battleship that happens to be, or whatever happens to be, across the cap circle from you. But quite frequently it's not a decisive engagement in the sense you might win, they might win, but the real battle happened elsewhere and the people that weren't immediately engaged and managed to actually concentrate forces somewhat. Another thing I noticed, but I'm not sure if I have a record of, and it's something I must pay more attention to in the future, but I recently had a game, I think it was in a Mahon, and I don't think I kept a record of it, where I didn't actually do any damage, but I capped a circle before I was destroyed. And I did really well by experience. You know, I came like mid-table, and I thought it was interesting that capping is a lot more valuable in terms of experience in this game than doing damage. That I've done games where I've done maybe not substantial amounts of damage, but certainly relative to my hit points, 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 damage, probably less than my total hit points, and done become bottom of the table and stuff like that. Now we do not want to be facing an Atlanta. I've done it once in a destroyer, and I will do everything to avoid doing it again, including sailing around the corner into two other destroyers, because that's what's after happening here. Now, a couple of things I find kind of startling. One is it never occurred to me to pop smoke. Now my torpedoes are on cooldown, so it's understandable enough that I didn't fire torpedoes, but why I didn't fire smoke, I don't know. That's I was kind of supposed to expect that lot of torpedoes to arrive, which is why I didn't just scoot around the island. But I should still have popped smoke, I think. But 2,300 and whatever damage, I think I came bottom of the table or something like that. But I've certainly been on a game where, like I said, it did 0 damage, came mid-table, just having capped a circle. So we have another game. This one is tier 6, and we're on North with a domination mode game. So I'm going to start off in the usual mode. We have a nice mix of ships. We have 2 battleships and a cruiser actually on this side. And if they head out towards the flank, that's actually quite a powerful force. The weak fleet is the middle fleet on Bravo, and they're probably as well off to leave Bravo alone, because it's a battleship and a destroyer, and usually that's not, in the early game, that's not a great combo. You really need to have, ideally you need to have a cruiser with you if you can possibly manage it, although this is battleship heavy and cruiser light. But more than one ship together is always better, because then you can practice focus fire and stuff like that, and it is actually not a bad idea for battleship drivers to use the quick communications thing to actually encourage focus fire, to indicate where they're shooting at, what ship they're planning to shoot at, so that the cruisers and destroyers can also focus fire on the same target. That way you can actually bring down a ship very, very quickly. And you'll actually see, even though the captain doesn't do it, I think my previous video with the Mahon, the captain does do it. Actually, he's doing it there now. He's indicating that New Mexico is going to be the focus of his incoming fire. And if everybody else fires in the New Mexico, it's going to make a big difference to the fate of the New Mexico and the speed at which the conflict gets resolved on this side of the map. So I'm waiting for somebody to get within range. Actually, New Mexico is the leading enemy ship as far as I'm concerned. Though, at the end, it doesn't actually matter about targeting here, because this, I don't spot the destroyer coming out. It's a Benson, and he's just coming out making smoke, which is actually tactically a good idea. It's giving his ships a chance, because I don't think we have an airplane up though, so I don't know how much utility it might be. They might have to go into the smoke to benefit from it. I launched the torpedoes on the path that I was aiming for, and I sent some shots in towards the Benson, and I launched a second sort of torpedoes in a random direction, more or less. And fire at the Benson, get around the edge of the island just to protect myself, and we sink the Benson. He just drove into the torpedoes. He didn't have a lot of hit points left though at that point. He was about half his health, or maybe slightly more, depending on, or slightly worse, depending on whether it was the first hull or the second hull. And then another torpedo hits another ship. I have no idea which one, but it did a substantial amount of damage, because I'm up to 14,000 damage now from about 6. And that New Mexico looks rather the worse for wear. We're just going to fire another random spread of torpedoes. It's not the correct direction, but there's a smoke screen down there and there's somebody firing out of it. Now I think it's the New Mexico. And he is taking a fair old pounding. Now I should have been paying more attention to the mini-map here. There's a destroyer starting to come out between the islands, and there is incoming fire from somebody that I can't see that's behind the destroyer. He's knocked a fair chunk out of my ship. The Mahon, and the Mahon, another Mahon, and the Mahon has me detected, and I am popping smoke. It helps to protect myself. It'll also help protect my allies, because the enemy don't have aircraft, and there's no indication saying that I'm radar spotted. So I'm going to assume that it's just the Mahon that can see me now. I can see the Mahon because of allies, and he's firing, and he starts popping smoke as well. But that nearly wiped me out. I've taken almost, I've taken over 10,000 actual points of damage there from that one engagement. In the meanwhile, on the other side of the island, our team have actually been doing quite well, because that New Mexico is on his last legs. And he's actually, before I even get the shots out, the Omaha is decided that this fight's over and is running for it. And there's no way I'm going to get torpedoes on the Omaha. And the Colorado has taken a few hits, but is not too badly damaged at the moment. The problem the Colorado has right now is, of course, that she's alone against 2 enemy battleships, a destroyer and a cruiser, and is in a crossfire between them. 2 of them are north-south. There's an allied destroyer as well on the other side, so she's just taking a beat. She basically has the problem that no matter what direction she faces, she's going to be presenting a broadside to somebody. So I think she's eventually decided to present the broadside to the destroyer. It's probably the least hazardous course of action. But I think she's taken enough damage and she's on fire, and it's unlikely, I think, that she'll survive this, or much more of this. Anyway, there's a momentary reappearance of the Mahon there at the other side of the island. Torpedoes from the allied destroyer. And yes, the Omaha is running around the inside of the island. Allied destroyer has reappeared, so I presume that's the Mahon back for another round, but he's left it too late, the player. The Mahon should have been around here a lot earlier on, when we had still targets to shoot at this side of the map. I haven't noticed until he shoots at me. The obvious target to shoot at, and I'm not even paying attention, I'm going looking at the Omaha. However, the Mahon has forced my hand and is actually taking a pounding already from somebody else, probably a cruiser, from the rate of the incoming fire. He's taken out of it, and that's him over and done with, so it's just the Colorado. The Omaha has disappeared, it's not on the map. So the Colorado's getting the undivided attention of everybody. And there she goes. Another one down. So things are looking pretty good for our team. I have 22,000 points of damage, which I suppose is not bad. I think so anyway. It's probably it's not quite double my hit points, but Now, the enemy team is pretty concentrated. They were last seen over in Charlie. And they were pretty focused and together. However, there is more of us. And one of the enemy ships has been spotted. And we're kind of surrounding the direction that ship is going in. So it's easy for us to kind of close into that location from multiple different sides, which is going to be very difficult to deal with from the enemy team. In fact, the enemy battleship might be better served to actually try and break contact and try and break contact and move away and force us to scatter, looking for them. Although we're well ahead in points. And the problem with a tactic of that nature is that the time left in the game means that it will have to be done fairly quickly in order to be effective, because then they'll have to come back in and reset caps and things like that.
Engine boost deactivated.
And the balance of force doesn't favour the enemy, in that the battleships, if they pulled away, we might chase after them. We probably would chase after them, but then it would depend on where the remaining enemy destroyer was to see if they could then sneak in to a vacated cap circle and flip the cap circle while everybody else is chasing the rest of the enemy fleet. I see the Colorado coming out here through the channel, and I thought I should be able to get into a decent position and set torpedoes into the path of the Colorado, and we'll see how I do. So I'm going to come up here by the edge of the cap circle. Now I could enter the cap circle because we already own it. Won't register that I'm in here unless the enemy enters as well, in which case they'll have a contested cap circle and I'll notice somebody in the cap circle. But I'm going to pop smoke, because the chances are at 6.5 kilometers the enemy's going to see me anyway, and they did just as I got the smoke set. However, I'm now inside my own smoke screen and I'm safe for detection. I'll launch some torpedoes. We'll wait to see if he changes course, or changes speed, more importantly, and I'll launch another spread of torpedoes and we'll see how we get on. There is another ship following the Colorado pretty closely, Queen Elizabeth, although a little further out. So it does look like most of that spread is going to miss. We're going to get one hit. Colorado takes a hit and keeps steaming on. Did a fair bit of damage, but no flooding. And now we get multiple hits. Yes, 3 hits, 2 flooding, 1 critical damage. That was a substantial amount of damage, really reduced the Colorado down to nothing, and we were able to finish it off after taking a hit from one of our own allied battleships or cruisers. So that just leaves the Queen Elizabeth near enough for me to engage, and it's almost certainly out of torpedo range, but the Queen Elizabeth's also getting focused fire from the nearest allied capital ships, and I might as well start doing my thing as well. Doesn't look like she's going to be into torpedo range anytime soon. And she's down to nothing in hit points. And before I even get the ranging on her, she's actually been destroyed. So that leaves the Fuso and the destroyer, wherever the destroyer is. Now the Fuso is well out of my range. I won't probably be able to catch up with it in the remaining time. Not with the fact that it's sailing in the direction of enemy ships, and there's a lot of enemy ships that already have the range and can fire on it. So I thought my best bet at this point would be actually go and cap Charlie. Be worth the experience, and it might flush out the other destroyer. Fuso is gone. Slightest hit, I think, and that's it, it's gone. But the other destroyer turns up near the enemy fleet, or near the allied fleet, way over at the other side of the map, 19 kilometers away, and sailing away from me. So I'm not going to catch the remaining destroyer, and I might as well continue on the Fubuki. I might as well continue on my original course and just let the allied ships deal with it, because by the time I get over there, it will be dead. But it might last long enough for me to get into the enemy cap circle Charlie and pick up a few points, but that turns out not to be the case. So it's game over, and we have some more stages in the Atlanta campaign. They're having a lot of problems with their servers too, so I think some of those campaigns have been extended, so that might be actually doable. Although I'll be off all of this week. This is actually going to be a pre-uploaded video. I won't be around all this week. I won't be playing from Monday till today. I'll be coming back today. So I actually came number 1 by experience in this particular occasion, with 50,000, 60,000 total damage. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. If you did, please give it a like and share. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.